This is Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new retrospective. This is part 2 of the Supergirl TV show. Today we cover the third and the fourth season. If you have missed the first part of this retrospective, go in the description below. There is a link, and if you click that link, you will find part 1. With that being said, season 3 and 4 are a really good step in the right direction for the show. These two seasons overall were much better than the first two seasons. The villain were good, the story was good. I'm wondering how everything happened. Did they fire the people that were working on the first two seasons? Did this really happen? In this retrospective, just like other retrospective I did, we have viewership numbers and Rotten Tomato comments from the audience. Because I don't care about the critique. The critique are biased. They are sellouts. They are paid to praise stuff even if they didn't like the stuff. Or sometimes they go out from university and stuff, and in university you get brainwashed if you're in the USA. It's like a cult or something. I feel like this time around it's a bit more grounded what the critic score is. 78 is still... actually, it's good. It's less than what I gave. The third season was actually really good. So I'm surprised audience-wise it was 54, but I cannot blame anybody. I mean, the track record at that point is not that great. On the right, we already see my comment I did a year ago. So, first comment, 5 stars. It's a absolutely season of action-packed adventure and rewatchable scene bombastic. I agree, that season was really good. Best season of the show. I can see where you are coming from. Started off decent with Kara emotional story, then completely flopped the landing. I agree 100%. I know that feeling. And the show never recovers afterward. I agree as well. Got worse and worse until the very end. They simply stopped caring about Kara altogether. This is true. Not a bad third season, admittedly weaker than the first two seasons and doesn't really have much consistency at time, but for what it is, engaging and fun to watch, and it is nice to see some familiar face return for an encore. So, I disagree. This season is miles ahead of the first two seasons. Maybe that person didn't really like the tone, but I mean, Season 3 is clearly a step in the right direction, so I don't understand how someone can think Season 1 and 2 were better. Anyway, let's move on with the comment I left a year ago. The best season of Supergirl. The darker tone of the story was very interesting. Rain was very interesting. The other villains are okay. The writing still need more improvement, but it's much better than what season 1 and 2 gave us. The season had a few less impressive episodes by the end, but it was still entertaining. The Legion of Superheroes was amazing. Can't wait to rewatch the season. John gets his best season. Actually, it's season 4, but John still get good stuff in the third season. Monel was great again. I agree. One negative I see is the whole Maggie-Alex relationship. It dragged down the show a lot. Another negative I see is how trust issues come back as lazy story build mechanism. I still stick to everything I said, except for maybe John Johns, because I do think season 4 did better for John. Season 5 also did really good for John. I think season 5 the only good storyline was John's trying new stuff, you know? Anyway. at stake. Season 3 for a 4-star, oh actually 4 stars and a half, yeah. Season 3 was probably the most boring and forgettable season in the show. I disagree. I actually had to look up on Wikipedia what episode belonged to it. And it has only been a month since I've watched it. In fact, it was so boring that I used it as a background sound while I did my college projects. And the amount of chit chat in it are. I decided to skip all the talking and only sing the actual action scene, which is, in case you're Warner Bros., basically what we actually watch superhero shows for. And ended up finishing each episode in hardly 5 minutes. Well, there was something about Kryptonian woman who decided to go evil because the voices inside her head compelled her to do so. Also, Mon-El came back, so everything that happened in the climax of the previous season goes down the drain. This is because you didn't watch the show, man. You only watched the action. So, about Mon-El coming back, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, I will be honest here, but I do like the fact that Mon-El has changed and you see these change. Maybe he came back too soon, but hey. Yeah. Although this wasn't a straight up dumpster fire, provided Brainiac finally comes in, Mon-El gets his comic costume and the action scene is still meaningful. There's also the Crisis on Earth X, which is really annoying because it's the very reason why I have to watch it in the first place. Otherwise, I will not be able to understand Arrow and the Flash. Now, I will go back to the Mon-El thing. Mon-El leaving still affected Kara. Even if he comes back, Kara was so crushed in the early stage of the season. And Kara really felt like a different character. So even if you bring back Mon-El, you didn't undermine Kara's character growth. You didn't undermine the material you were giving to Kara. So yes, it does take away a bit of the impact, but I understand why they did it, and even if they did it, Mon-El leaving still affected Kara at the end. Half a star. I'm not really impressed. Really like this season. I get your feeling. Half a star again. Extremely bad and lazy writing and every mediocre acting. Nothing here makes sense. Supergirl third season started off really strong. I said it. The first episode of the third season was really good. It has a few issues here and there, but I must say this. You can already tell we are on a shift of tone. We get more than just female Superman. We get to know a broken Kara. She is in denial. She doesn't want to accept the fact that she lost someone. And she doesn't want to accept the fact that losing said someone affects her. She is in denial. We got a Kara this time around that doesn't smile all the time. We got a Kara that doesn't want to be Kara, but only Supergirl. So, in this season, I really feel like, at the start of it at least, Supergirl is changing into something else. And it's very interesting. We had the same Kara for 2 seasons in a row. And now we got a new Kara with this new start of a season. And this is really great because you need to let your character grow into something else. You need to work on your character so it change and learn. Now, I will admit it, Morgan Edge is a great villain, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. They need to ruin him, or I should say, they need to tell you he is a sexist, and that's wrong to be sexist. I get it, I understand, I am not 5 years old. But your writer seems to think the show is aimed at 5 years old. In season 2, we had racist people being the villain. Now we have sexist people being the villain. I think it's very funny when you put it this way. If it was handled by better writers, it could be great. But these are Supergirl writers. They are not that good. Instead of showing you stuff, they really need you to hear the character telling what's going on. And even showing is not enough sometimes. They show something, but they will make sure you understand by repeating through the characters what's going on. The best example would be in season 2. Remember season 2? Supergirl defeated Superman, which is fine because her cell absorbed the sun energy better than Superman. But that wasn't enough for them. They really wanted to tell the audience Superman was at full strength. Clark needed to admit to Kara she is better than him. Because showing that wasn't enough for the writers. I feel like the writers of this show were not really secured with their main character. It's kinda sad there. Now, another issue I got. The child getting crushed by some kind of big metal pillar and having no damage, injuries, or anything. Plot armor on character. Yeah. Here again, I will repeat myself. Sometimes the dialogue is so bad. It's very sad. But I will say it. This first episode was a strong start. Despite my issues, I was very entertained. And I do think it's a really, really good start for a season. And I cannot wait to rewatch everything. This episode was good, despite the issues. I almost forgot to mention another issue. The entire subplot that is around Maggie and Alex wedding. I don't like their relationship in the first place because it takes too much space, and I don't like relationship in shows in general. It's really rare I will get behind a relationship. In this third season, I remember at the start of it, the whole drama between Maggie and Alex was annoying. I didn't care about it. I didn't like that drama. And it felt like it was just eating away times for the sake of it. It felt like filler. And we got a lot of that. Because they want to build up their relationship to build up the downfall of it later on. But Maggie, in the first place, is not the best supporting character. She is just there for diversity, which is fine if it's handled by good writers. I'm a huge Legion fan, And Legion is all about diversity, but it's handled by good writers. This season is also the best season for Kara. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, actually, yes. That's the best season for Kara. She doesn't have any relationship. But guess what? There's the love triangle in the back half that really ruin everything. But outside of that love triangle, the sole fact that Kara is not involved into a serious relationship with someone, a love relationship, I am so glad about that. I'd like to share this. And this will be a trend that will last next season and season 5. I think at some point in season 5 or 6, they do plant some seed for a future relationship, but then they change their mind and they take that away. Regardless, you don't need relationship. You don't need your entire cast to be in love with someone else. You just don't need that. So that's what I think. Here we are, Supergirl, third season, episode number 2. This episode was a bit worse than the first one. It's kinda sad because it has potential to be better. Only if they decided to just put on the shelf somewhere else that drama between Alex and Maggie. Oh my. First of all, they argue at work over DJ or orchestra or band, whatever. It's BS. Really, why am I watching this? They also planned on getting a wedding, and yet they didn't talk if they wanted children in the future, which doesn't make sense because usually when you want to marry someone, you know you have similar goals to that person. But hey, this is CW and this is cheap soap opera drama for you. Oh, and yeah, the weekly villain is very strong. I like that. But there's the thing. Supergirl lost like 2 or 3 times this week, which is really different than most of the other episodes we had in the past, and I like it. But there's the thing. At the end of the episode, she was really stupid. She basically charged at her again, and she tried to talk down that villain. She will overpower you, but no, not this time around. Supergirl lost 3 times, and now because she overcame fear, she's able to beat down the villain. Oh my. Bad writing. Writing on the wall. That ending, Supergirl being strong enough to beat that weekly villain, didn't make any sense. Outside of that, I did like most of the episode. Samantha, the mother, the single mother, is very interesting. And her daughter, well, it's a child actor. We cannot blame too much on that child actor, but hey, that storyline is interesting, and I could relate. Not every parent are good parents naturally. Sometimes it's harder, and sometimes parents, they have the best plans. They want the best for their kids, but they don't realize they got it all wrong, and they need to change approach. And this is what makes that relationship so realistic. Lena as a character is amazing. Her taking over Catco is very interesting. I like that a lot. Now, I got a major issue incoming. They are currently setting up a romance between James and Lena because these writers feel the need to give everyone a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or both. Whatever. it's CW. Overall, I do think this is still a really strong start, despite my issues. I think these were really good episodes. I do enjoy a lot the darker tone of this season. It feels different. I like light tone, I like comedy, I like funny stuff. The tone of season 1 and 2 was good, but season 3 just brings something else, something new, and it's handled by better writer, I guess. Maybe. We will see at the end of the season if it's really better. So far, I enjoyed the trip much more than season 1 and 2. Maybe I'm biased because I like that season a lot. Or maybe I'm right and this is indeed the best season of the show. Episode 3 and 4 were two really good episodes in a row. But here's the thing. It's not whiteout, it's issues. I will sound like a broken record, right? I've seen these two episodes yesterday, and I remember liking much of it. Maybe a plot convenience here and there, nothing major. Maybe sometime the dialogue is weird because it's Supergirl and these writers don't know how to create dialogue. But here's the thing, I will sound like a broken record. The Alex and Maggie drama is so awful! This drama is trash. It ruins the show for me. Now, is it a good season so far? Yes. But this alone leave that really bad taste on that opening of a season. There are such a focus half of each episode in these first 4 episodes were dedicated to their relationship. And I don't watch superhero media to watch relationship drama. I know it's CW and they will make some. But this is not the appeal of this. Coming into that season, I remembered that relationship really destroying the first half of the season. And I was freaking right. Not only they keep telling you they are gay, and we know it. We are not blind. And we know it's two women. Okay, I get it, but why do you need to insert so many terms like that in your dialogue? Do you think your viewer is stupid enough to not realize they are gay? If it's the case, man, you really treat your audience as stupid people, and it's sad. This is forced diversity. What I mean by there is the dialogue doesn't feel right, the dialogue is really bad, it's not realistic, they don't sound like characters, they sound like writer insert. Now, as I am recording this, I have seen the first season of the Umbrella Academy. I've seen the entire season, and I do think that season had a lot of diversity in it. But guess what? It was handled by better writer. The boss girl are good. The gay character don't need to insert all the gay term, and they don't need to tell you, look, I'm gay. No. That relationship and that gay character is normalized within the story and the dialogue. Supergirl doesn't normalize it. They treat it as something special, something unique. And this is why it's bad. Because it's not. If you really want to normalize that, treat it as an hetero relationship. Treat it as anything else that is normal. If you want to normalize, treat it as anything else. The same way. No exception. Supergirl TV show cannot do that. These writers, they don't realize that what they're doing is not normalizing that relationship. It's placing the emphasis on how important and special this is. At some extent, I do understand. It's important as much as in man on woman relationship. It's the same level. But I will never treat that as something that that is more important. But these writers, I feel like they do value these same gender relationship more than opposites. And this is when you don't really normalize what you're doing. Now, maybe I'm wrong. This is coming from a straight guy. So maybe I'm wrong and I'm out of touch and I don't really understand the opposite side of what I am telling you. But Umbrella Academy did it right and Supergirl didn't. The Legion TV show, they did it right. There was much more diversity in this show than any other show I've seen. And this is one of my favorite TV show. So tell me, Supergirl writer, why were you not able to look around and take some good example in your notebook? And if you work on future project, because Supergirl is over, will you be brave enough to look around all these diverse TV show where diversity is normal and not praised or unique or special? Will you look around and try to understand what they are trying to do? Or you just think what you're doing is helping your case? I don't think what Supergirl TV show is doing is helping their case, but hey, that's their thing. Now, I won't only rant without really speaking about the TV show, but here's the thing. This season has been really good. We had John Jones going to Mars, saving his people, and his father. That was a really good episode. We also had that episode where Maggie says, I want some kids. And that episode was actually interesting. Episode 5 in the other end, when Maggie and Alex break up, is not as good. I still think it's somewhere around the first 4, but it's not as good. My favorite episode so far is episode 4, The Fateful One. And I feel like the Maggie and Alex relationship took a backseat. Backseat? Yeah, I think it's backseat. It took a backseat and it helped the episode a lot. I don't remember having any issues. And The Fateful One, the episode number 4, I do think this was hands down the best episode the show had so far. Yes. So this is what's going on when you just put your agenda elsewhere and you focus on your story and you make good content. Maybe that episode had issues I could not see because I enjoyed it too much, but overall I do think it was something unique for the Supergirl TV show. I feel like they hired new writer just for this one. Since I already mentioned episode 5, I will tell you this. This was cringe, this was weird when Alex and Maggie started dancing and then they slept together again, even if they are about to break up and divorce. That was a weird scene. Maybe that was to tell the Alex Maggie fans, look, they are effing together one last time. That's the goodbye F around, you know? My. Why am I watching this? Well, I do a YouTube channel and I wanted to suffer through the entire show again. Season 3 so far is the best season, and Alex and Maggie relationship really damaged the season for me. It's a subplot that don't really matter in the biggest picture, and the only reason why they have that subplot it's because Maggie actress probably wanted to leave the show because she was like, my material is shit, I will move on to a better show. That's probably what happened, so they need to write her character up, right? Oh my. I don't know what was the reason behind the scene, but this is surely how it looks like because Maggie was fine in season 2, but she wasn't like the best part of it. And yeah. Here we are, she's leaving the show at last. I remember Alex having a new girlfriend by the end of the show, and that new girlfriend was actually not as obnoxious, or I should say, their relationship didn't tear the show apart the same way Alex and Maggie did. So I'm looking forward to see Alex happy again. Now, I want to say this, Sam is a interesting character. I'm invested in the mystery again, even if I know the outcome and what she is, in fact. Lena, as usual, amazing character. Supergirl feels different, and this is really good. Her trauma losing Monel as a weight. So the whole Monel Kara relationship didn't matter in season 2. Because now in season 3, everything has changed for Kara. She feels like a new character and it's good. Now you will tell the same with Alex if you're a big fan of Alex and Maggie. But here's the thing, Alex is a supporting character. That's the first thing. The second thing, the change won't last that long. It will last for like 3 episodes and then Alex will be back the way she was. And this is funny because Kiara, her trauma lasted for 4 episodes. Hell, her trauma stopped her from getting new relationship in the future seasons. So her trauma affects her much more than Alex. On top of that, Kiara will be placed into a really weird spot in a really bad love triangle in the back half of the season. So yeah, that Monel and Kara relationship did matter a lot more than Alex and Maggie. Maggie will be forgotten fast because she doesn't appear in the show anymore. If I remember correctly, Monel will come back, and when he will be back, he will move pieces around in the chessboard. Episode 6 of Supergirl 3rd Season. Some of you may think it's a filler episode, and I cannot say otherwise, but here's the thing. It was a really good filler episode where you get to see Alex and Kiara relationship on another set of eyes, under another lens. When Kiara first came in, they didn't get along when they were a teenager, and this is very interesting to see that aspect of what they used to share and be. To be honest, this episode could be one of the best the show ever had. But here's the thing. There are a few, plot convenience that makes the entire episode just a bit weak here. But overall, it's among the best the show ever had. And I'm glad I have seen it again. I just wish the entire show was under that flavor where it's plot convenience that are the issue and not like dialogue and characters. Because the characters were good, the storyline was good, the dialogue was good, but it's just the story, how they put the pieces together. There are cracks here and there. This is also funny because they didn't deal with love triangle, they didn't deal with a huge focus on love relationship between characters. It was just a fun episode about learning what Kara and Alex used to be when they were teenagers. The teenagers they casted for both characters were also very likable, and you could feel we got a Alex as a teenager and a Kara as a teenager. The writing of these two characters and the acting both felt right. It is shocking coming from this TV show I've been tearing apart in the first video about it. It's just a good staple. It's what if Supergirl had good writers? We then get Wake Up. Another very, very good episode. Wake Up, episode 7. My only big issue is love triangle and focus on relationship again. This time around, it's Kara and Manel what they used to be, and Manel what he has become. Oh my. This really damaged the episode a lot. Some of the dialogue was also Supergirl-like. It's very sad to say. But overall, it was still a very good episode. When I look back, this is among the best episodes the show had. It was much better without that Maggie and Alex drama that really brought the show down. I must also admit, Lena and James don't need to be on a relationship to share screen time. But they want to build that one up, even if both actors don't have chemistry. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Supergirl writers, I was praising you in episode 6, and you got to do many steps backwards in between episodes. I just feel like it's all over the place. Sometimes you have a really, really good episode, and then other time you have just a good episode. It's kinda sad. Supergirl deserves better. Now, episode 9 bleeds of the same issues as episode 7. Now you may ask, why didn't you mention episode 8? Well, episode 8 is the crossover, and as I am rewatching this Supergirl TV show, I skipped the crossover because I plan on making an entire video dedicated to every single crossover the Arrowverse had. I will cover them. I will cover these. And yeah, that's the plan. Episode 9 was still very good. It was much better than the first half for sure. It's just very entertaining. The mystery around Sam is really good. Sam being Rain is very good. Now, I think they do reveal it this episode. I'm actually not quite sure, but there are build-ups here and there. And now the shocking ending. Rain nearly kills Supergirl after a great fight. One of the best fights the show ever had. They worked out a lot for this fight. And I will admit, the fight choreography in Supergirl is not always on point. It's not always amazing. but the fight they had, Supergirl and Rain, was great. I don't really praise the show that much with fight choreography and action sequence because sometimes it's not well handled. But here, that fight was good. That fight was good. Do more like this, Supergirl TV show. I know you can do it. As I mentioned earlier, this episode has the same issues as the previous one. Dialogue, love triangle, relationship focus. I do think it's misplaced, and I think the writer value more the drama around the character than anything else. Because everyone needs to be in love. Everyone needs to have that heartbreak. Everyone, 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 everyone. It's not good, writer. We don't need that. But hey, this is your show after all, right? Now, I must address this because this is a subplot. And I feel like I didn't really address it before, but it was a thing. John Johns, Martian Manhunter, and his father. They are heartfelt, and this season I really feel like they are giving as much material as they can to Martian Manhunter. He had a good second season with Megan and the Martian storyline, but that was it. John Johns didn't got that much material. We understood more why he was the way he was, but he didn't grow that much. And now he has some space, and that subplot is changing him into another character. And it's great. It's shocking that these writers are able to give seeds for proper character growth. It's shocking because sometimes you have these bad dialogue and then you have this. The build up of John Johns becoming a pacifist and leaving the deal. Yes, I spoiled the ending of season 3, but the seeds were planted this season and they were well done. And I am glad to see Alex in charge in season 4 until things happen in season 4 that I didn't really like. But hey, season 3 is doing a great job. This is so far, hands down, the best season. Yes, we had a few flaws. Yes, I had issues. Yes, it wasn't perfect. But I enjoy it a lot. And it's better than what we usually get with Supergirl. Season 2 of Supergirl and Season 1 were all about a balance between Kara and Supergirl and how the Kara persona is important to Kara. And Season 3 is all about she doesn't want it anymore. And she only wants to be Supergirl because this is Supergirl, the hero. But there's the thing, she lost because she lost part of her humanity. When I say she lost, she fought Rain and she lost because she fought Rain like a Kryptonian, which makes sense, but she also lost because she lost her humanity at some extent. Now, I will admit it, I miss Snapper. Snapper was amazing in Season 2. I barely mentioned him because I actually forgot when I was recording Part 2, or I should say Season 2. Snapper was a good addition, and he had lots of growth. He ended up accepting Kara as a reporter by the end of the second season. So not having him around in the third season feel very weird. He was that supporting character that had a lot of growth. Now he's just no more around. Maybe they were not able to keep the actor around. But at least we got more Lena. Lena is there almost every week, which is great. Lena at that point in the show is still a very good character. She does struggle between good and bad. She wants to be good, but her Luther side may take over. I am just done watching episode 10, 11, 12, and 13 of Supergirl 3rd season. So, it's a mixed bag. Episode 11 and 13 feels both like season 1 material. They were not that great, and what dragged it down was the love triangle, the really bad dialogue, the plot armor on whoever need to be there for next week episode, or next episode, or whatever you call it. Outside of that, we have gems like, I don't know, episode 12, that was a really good episode. So far, it's on my top 5 episode of the entire show. Maybe more like top 6 or 7. So, the 3rd season is really good, but it still has the Supergirl flavor, and that flavor is not always good. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it does, but there are so many scenes that focus on love relationship. It's so obnoxious. Lena and James, when there's no scene with them, I'm fine. Let them have their own storyline. They don't need to be in love to be relevant. Episode 10 was really good until you have that scene where Lena is like, oh, James knows how to kiss. I was rolling my eyes. So, Supergirl can do great thing. It can also do bad thing. It's a very entertaining show, I will admit. I'm entertained. I'm not bored. I like the darker tone. This 3rd season is by far my favorite. And I think it's a very strong season despite my dislikes. I do think it was a very strong season so far. Now, I don't know when exactly we got that episode about gun control, but I remember not liking that one at all. And it's coming soon. I'm torn apart whether I should watch it or not. I have that feeling I should just skip it. But if there's something meaningful in it, maybe I should watch it. I really don't know. We will see shortly if I'm invested enough with that episode if I end up watching it. Rain as a villain is amazing! She is great. She is the best villain the show had. Cadmus is not that far away, but Rain is much better than Rhea. Rain is much better than Astra and Non. She's better than Indigo. She's better than most of the previous villain. Only Cadmus hope to come close. But even there, I do think Rain is great. The other world killers, so far I've only seen the one that Scream. She's cool. I enjoy her a lot. And her having 2 sides is very interesting. The human side and the Kryptonian side. Now, speaking about 2 sides. Supergirl this season, she learned that she cannot solve everything with brute force. Which is very interesting considering most of her past fights, battles, war, were fought on who is the strongest. Maybe Rhea is the only exception because she had an entire army. technically speaking, that was still a fist fight she needed to do, and she needed to win to overcome that. But this season so far, it, it tried to do something else. In The Flash, they keep talking down to villain. I really hate that crap in The Flash because they started doing it every week with like people you cannot reason with. And you know it because they tried many times and they still think they can. And I think it's really stupid when you keep trying over and over again to reason with someone. Supergirl tried to reason with the World Killers because she realized they are stronger than her, which makes sense. And she is talking down to a lot of villain this season, but I'm fine. So far, it's only this season, and it doesn't feel as poorly written as The Flash when they talk down villain. Because I feel like Supergirl is female Superman, and she's there to bring hope, and I feel like because she's a copy-paste version of Superman, let's be honest here, in this show, she's a copy-paste version of Superman, she'd rather talk to people instead of solving things with fists. Which makes sense. And the Flash, on the other end, when he's doing it, I'm like, you're fast. You're the fastest man alive. You should just take them down. Now you can tell almost the same argument with Kara because she's really fast, but she is not as fast as Barry. I don't think so. Well, in season 1, they hinted at Supergirl being as fast, but let's be honest, they don't really tell you what is Supergirl's speed. They don't give any numbers, so we cannot keep track. Maybe by that time in season 3, Supergirl is as fast as she was in season 1, while Barry is getting faster each season. The whole idea of Barry in the first 3 seasons was getting faster, so he's always faster. So him talking down villain when he can just speed them in jail and stuff, it doesn't make sense. Kara is fast, but yeah, she's just female Superman, and I think because of that, I may give a pass to her talking down to villain. And most of the time, she will try to fight people with her fist before talking down to them. When she talked down to villains, I feel like it's because she realized she's outmatched and she's trying to use another way to try to fix everything, you know? Nonetheless, season 3 is a good season. I am having a blast. The 2 weakest episodes being episode 11 and episode 13 are still better than what we had in the first season. Now, there's a lot of episodes in season 2 that are actually better than these two, but there's also a few that are worse than these 2 episodes. So, even if I feel like I am hitting some kind of low point in the season, I am entertained. And I feel like this season is better. The writing is better. I still have issues, but I have less issues than what I used to have with this show. Maybe I'm getting used to what's going on again. I am 5 minutes into episode 14. Oh my! I lost brain cells. Again. We had a karaoke, and we had boys talking about feelings and girlfriends. I'm a man. I feel like there are many other subjects as a man I'd like to discuss about outside of relationship and love. Of course, if I speak with a cousin or a girl, because girls do value that a lot, this may end up into a discussion. But when it's men speaking to men, feel like we have other subject we are more interested to speak about. We don't value relationship as much as women, so I feel like that scene was written by a woman. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I nitpick too much. But these scenes, feelings and always, are so annoying. And I know Supergirl has a lot of feelings and always. I tend to close my eyes because I'm used to it. The Flash does the same thing. But it still bothers me a lot. I don't care. It's filler. These 4 minutes into that episode are pointless. Feel like I'm watching season 1 all over again. And season 1 was hands down the worst season of the show so far. So it's a really rough start for episode 14. And it feels out of place. Because I liked the last bunch episode we got. The cliffhanger of episode 13, as much as I didn't like 13, it was interesting. Why didn't you pick up with Lena and Sam? Because Lena talked about trying to fix what's going on with Sam. That's much more interesting and appealing than feeling and always and people doing karaoke. I will admit, I did laugh about John's father reaction to karaoke. That was funny, but I still hated the guts out of this karaoke scene. They needed to have half of the cast go on stage and sing. The sad case of episode 15 of the 3rd season. Now, I say sad case because it had a lot of greatness into it. That was one of the best episodes the show ever had. The fact that Sam was in denial at the start of it for being Rain and having a split personality, and then the shock of reality she got when she realized she was Rain was amazing. It was emotional. The shock that the father of John actually could not control his powers anymore was another shock that changed that character, and it was amazing. The episode was really good. It had a lot of art in it. It was a well written episode. But then the sad case happens. Because of John's, well, people go crazy. The idea is good, but then Kara and Monel spare or train or call it the way you want. And more drama between Kara and Monel passed. This ruined everything in this episode. I do like the fact that Monel got growth between season 2 and 3, and he is now a new character. And I do like the reflection of him being a jerk and now him being someone else. It's good, but I think it's poorly written, and the dialogue for these scenes was really bad. Each scene with Monel and Kara this week felt like they were bringing the episode down by a lot. Feelings and always. And the drama between them is not really good. This week, I actually wasn't bothered that much by James and Lena, because James is a good character, and Lena as well, and I think for once their relationship kind of worked, not because of chemistry, but more because of what happened. James also always supports superheroes, and he understands what superhero need, and he's just doing the best he can to help out his girlfriend, which was interesting. The best part of this episode was really the Lena and Sam material. This was amazing. It was the entertaining episode with a lot of action, and as I said, it's a sad case because the drama between Kiara and Mon-El was really bad. The dialogue was... I was rolling my eyes. I was disgusted. I was like, man, why this happens in this episode? This episode could have been top 10 material in the entire show if it wasn't that much driven by the drama between Kiara and Mon-El and how they need to patch up things. I feel like Kiara and Mon-El have been patching up things since the start of the season. And this bothers me a lot because Mon-El as a character did grow. He has a lot of growth. But his friendly relationship or his interaction with Kiara didn't grow. It feels like it's a stalemate. It remained at the same place. It doesn't move further. It doesn't move forward. And it damaged a lot the interaction he has with Kiara. It's a very sad case because, as I said, that episode was a blast. But then you got Kiara and Mon-El really bad storyline, subplot, call it the way you want. And at least it's better than episode 14, because so far episode 14 was hands down the worst thing in this season. It's among the worst episodes the show ever aired so far. It's not quite F tier yet. Maybe it will drop to F tier once I'm done rewatching the entire show, but right now it relies on the Echo tier, the E tier, because episode 14 was really bad. Anyway, episode 15, good improvements, much better than 14. 14, I just gave up on pointing out issues. That episode was bleeding all over the place. I think I just needed to move on instead of just rolling myself around the same things. Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 18, was another great episode, but here's the thing. It's not without its issues here and there. I think my biggest one is lies, trust issues used as plot device to change relationship between character. And by the way, they also turned Lena into an hypocrite by accident. Very clever, right? They turned Lena into an hypocrite because she lied and she hid the truth to the DO. She wasn't transparent. She wasn't honest with them. For good reason. She wasn't crystal clear with them. She kept in hiding a criminal, like John said. Even if it's for good reason, she did it. She also created kryptonite. And Guess what? Supergirl could not trust Lena anymore because Lena had the only weapon that could kill Supergirl. Supergirl investigate Lena using James. Guess what? Lena cannot trust Supergirl anymore. Don't you see how hypocrite this is? She held information for good reason. She held information. But she doesn't tolerate other people doing the same thing. Oh my. I really hate that aspect of Lena this season. I always remembered that third season to be really good, but having weaker aspect and plot thread and subplot throughout the season. And Lena drama between Supergirl and Lena was one of these weakest subplot. I really hate the crap out of these storyline about lies breaking relationship apart. I hate it. I'm just done with it. Too many shows did it. Too many movies did it. Everyone did something at some point that rely on lying. It's overdone. And sometimes it can be done properly by a good writer, but even there, it's overdone. A good writer can find other point of contention. They can actually find better ways to change character relationship. They smart writer, they work on their character and they don't need the same lazy device because they're a good writer. But Supergirl, it's Supergirl. This is what you get. Oh, and yeah, this is on one of the past episodes. The episode with Pestilence. That was a good episode overall, but I rolled my eye when Supergirl tried to reason with Pestilence, coming very close to Pestilence, and Pestilence can actually kill her, but she still tried to speak with her like we speak to any normal people. Of course, plot armor happens and Supergirl survived because that's her show, and this season she almost died earlier, so they cannot like recycle that storyline, so plot armor. So overall, I will admit, even if I have issues, it's a great season. Episode 18 had a lot of build up and a lot of action, and so far this season has been a blast, and I was right when I said it's the best season of the show. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's season 4. We will see how season 4 goes. Right now I am just at episode 18. So maybe everything goes downhill from now on, but I don't think so. I remember that season of Supergirl being really good. I like the tone, it has a darker tone, and it's well handled. They were able to do good with the darker tone. The darker tone of this third season is much better than the darker tone the third season of The Flash. It's crazy because overall I do think the Flash writers are much better than the Supergirl writers. So I'm guessing Supergirl writers do have strength here and there. It's just buried under really bad dialogue, lazy plot here and there. I still think Rain is amazing as a character, but here's the thing. The big bad above Rain. When you look back, so far we barely know what they really want. We learn it after that, when we fully learn who they are, how they do it, and why they do it. That reason is just evil Kryptonian want to rebuild. We have seen that in season 1. I'm sorry, it was done better. Well, actually, it wasn't done better, but it was done already. The only edge the third season would have is the tool used into the world destruction and domination. I think Rain is much more interesting than Myriad. That's hard to compare because one is character, the other one is a power, but regardless, they are tools to reach a goal. I'm still bothered a lot by the fact that Lena doesn't suspect Kara and Supergirl are the same. People are smart when the writer want them to be smart, and people become dumb when they need to be done. Character need to overlook a few things. At that point, Lena has seen Supergirl so many times. And Kara is her best friend. So she should put should put 2 and 2 together. She is smart. Lena is a smart character. Write her this way. But no. It's Supergirl writers. And we all know in season 5 when that drama blows up. We all know that drama will blow up. Only for the relationship between Kara and Lena to be destroyed. I see that coming. It's not during this part of the retrospective, but I'm rolling my eyes each time I think about it. Lena is smart, but only when the plot wants her to be smart. And this is a proof of bad writing. It's very sad to say, it's a proof of bad writing. I really want you to be good, Supergirl TV show. You deserve it. You have a great cast of characters, and sometimes you end up with great ideas. You just don't know how to freaking execute them properly. And you don't have the good firepower to back it up. It's so sad. I feel like I just ate watch it, but I'm not, because I enjoy third season. Third season is good. But these issues I got with the show just bothers me so much. In the first 4 minutes of episode 19, guess what happens? It will circle back to what I said a few moments ago. Kara acknowledged it's wrong to lie to Lena. She acknowledged that if Lena ever finds out, that would break that relationship, that friendship she tried to make the last 2 years, as she said. So tell me, how do you fix it by not telling the truth? Is it a true fix? Because it will come out. She will find out. And that will break the relationship you want to preserve. Now, Supergirl has good reason for sure. She has good reason because people could actually use that against Supergirl or Lena. If Lena finds out, she becomes a weakness. So, guess what? Maybe, just maybe, Kara should cut herself out of Lena. But these writers really want to feed into that lies break relationship because we have not seen enough of that trope. This bothers me a lot because it's like breaking the fourth wall, and I know what come next. why didn't the writer just took another way with their writing? Why didn't they just let Kara tell Lena? Despite of the reason why Kara should lie, they should have at that point let Kara tell Lena she is Supergirl. But then we would miss the opportunity of the 100th episode happening. And this is kind of sad, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Friendship based on lies never work. And this is important. But these writers, they think you can make that work? Maybe not, because at some point that relationship blows up, but... And these lies, they're annoying for too many reasons. Just be honest. Take example on James and Lena relationship. They are honest with each other. And this is also funny how Kara said, James, why did you told her you did that for me? I'm on board with Kara. There was no point. Since James at the end didn't even go further with his plan. But hey, this is Supergirl, so we need drama with characters, even if that drama is really bad. I am done watching the third season of Supergirl. That was a really good season. Now, I will admit, this watch was worse than my previous one. What I mean by there, the season was worse than what I remembered. However, there's a big however. It doesn't stop that season for being really good and much better than the first two seasons. So far, this is the peak of the show. I cannot wait to rewatch the fourth season because I remember liking the fourth season a lot. I liked it a lot. The overall storyline with Rain was really good, but the Kryptonian witch behind it, they were really bad. They were Astra and non-level bad. They basically had the same plan. They wanted to do the same thing. It's so boring. Be more creative. It's also funny how they crammed at the end of the season a storyline where Kara goes to Argo for a few weeks, or I should say for a few days, because at the end of that one or two episodes, she's already back on Earth. Now, I do think this storyline was rushed, and it's a shame because that could have been interesting to have at least one or two other episodes there. Would it feel like Supergirl? Not really. I kinda understand why they didn't spend that much time on Argo, because what makes the show interesting is Supergirl having her powers. But here's the thing. You end up with a storyline that feels rushed, because it only lasts for like one episode or two, and there's that big goodbye Kara, and she's already back because she needs to save Earth. So this season was entertaining. It was a really good season with John. John had a lot of good material with his father, with Alex, and at the end of the season, John wants to honor his father's legacy, his father's memory, by making his life all about peace. So that makes him leave the DEO. And this is interesting because now Alex is in charge of the DEO. And this should be amazing if well used in the 4th season. One weak point, Alina character. She's an hypocrite, she is a liar, and she doesn't like when people lie to her. Okay, whatever. There's a lot of emphasis on relationship. They tease Monel and Kara ships. They tease them. They tell, oh yeah, Monel and Kara could be a thing, but then Monel leaves. At least, they showed character growth with Mon-El. He is more about self-sacrifice than what he was in season 2, and this is amazing. And this is surprising coming from Supergirl writers, because them writing character arc is somewhat of a struggle. The darker tone of this season was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. So, another flaw, episode 14 was really bad. It was the worst episode this season. Another weakness would be the Alex and Maggie relationship. There was such a huge focus on them in the first 5 episodes. That was really hard to watch. It was painful. When it's poorly written, drama between characters can hurt your show. Now, another issue, love a triangle, because they needed one with the Jupiter girl, Saturn girl, or whatever. Monel and Kara are into a love triangle. Amazing, right? I think this season deserves 8 out of 10, which is a really good grade for me. And this said 8 out of 10 is actually higher than the Flash first season in my eyes. And here's the reason. It's the 3rd season with a show with weak foundation, because the first 2 seasons were bad. And on top of that, Rain as a villain was much more interesting than Ilbarton. And I do feel like most of the cast this season had material to work on. And if I remember correctly, with the Flash first season, there was a huge emphasis on Barry, which is normal because that's her main character. There's a bit of things with Iris and Eddie because they're part of that massive love triangle. There's a lot of Elbarton for sure because he is the main villain. And then we had Caitlyn with a good story, but only in the middle and somewhere in the back half. She didn't feel like she had a lot going on for her in the first season. And the same goes for Cisco. Cisco didn't got that much in the first season. The biggest season for Cisco would be the 3rd season, and maybe at some extent season 5, because he gives away his powers. And also season 6 also had a lot of material for Cisco. So when I look back to The Flash, not the entire cast got good material. Now when I look back to Supergirl 3rd season, everyone had good material. Except for maybe James. Because he didn't grow as a character, all he had was a relationship with Lena. And even if I didn't really like Lena this season, she still had material going for her. She started to become a little bit more like Lex. So, this season of Supergirl is really good. A solid 8 out of 10. And I'm looking forward to see season 4. But I think we have met the peak. the highest point of the Supergirl TV show. I may be wrong. Maybe season 4 will surprise me and will end up being better than season 3, but I don't really expect that. I just don't. It's sad to say, but I don't. I remember most of it. So with that being said, let's move on with the video. After 2 really bad seasons, we start off with a very low 1.87 million with the first episode of the 3rd season. People tapped out of the show, I guess. I cannot blame them. Next up, episode 2, 1.76 million. Another drop. Episode number 9, mid-season finale. 1.81 million. And this was a really good episode, so I'm kinda surprised. Legion of Superheroes with the mid-season premiere, 2.17 million. We hit new lows with the penultimate episode with 1.78 million. Battle Lost, Battle Won, 1.78 million. So they were able to maintain like 1.70-ish million during this season. This is very interesting. This was a really good season, so it's kind of sad to see that people lost interest for the show. But I cannot blame anybody because season 1 and 2 were really bad. A new low, it's the TV show with the 4th season premiere, 1.52 million, followed by Fallout, 1.34 million. Wow, these numbers are kinda low now. To be fair, the mid-season premiere this time around is not episode 9, but episode 8. Episode 9 is a fluke because this is a crossover. So let's take a look to Bunker Hill with 1.26 million, followed by Suspicious Minds, 1.04 million. This season it's some lows, and I can understand maybe people don't like being preached at and being told bigotry is bad. We all know bigotry is bad. Please be smarter, Supergirl writer. Even if it's a bit too late, if you work on other project, use more brain cell, I guess. So I guess with this season, the new usual number is around 1 million. With Red Dawn, the penultimate episode, 1.11 million, followed by the season finale, The Quest for Peace, also known as the worst Superman movie we had, 1.07 million. It's kinda low, but I cannot blame anybody that tapped out of the show because some episodes in that season are rough. This may be the best season the show ever had, but you missed the mark in many aspects with this season and previous seasons, so it's normal that viewership may suffer from that. Season 4, Episode 2 of Supergirl. This one was the worst episode since season 2-ish. Maybe like episode 14 in the 3rd season was worse. But this episode was really hard to watch. The dialogue was weird. Plot convenience happened a lot. Like, I don't know, a anti-alien guy working at the DO just happens to be in contact with the terrorist anti-alien that they sent behind bars, and then because the plot wants the anti-alien villain to be free and do damage to society, the anti-alien agent from the DO free these prisoners, these criminals, these villains. It's laughable how Supergirl was really suspicious when she really wanted to get separated from Lena, and she was trying to get into her Supergirl suit. But don't you think it would be much easier for Supergirl to just say, "Yeah, I'm Kara. It's Supergirl. I'm Kara." But instead, no. They went on that chase scene where Supergirl, aka Kara, keep using all of her powers, but nobody notices it, and she comes up with like the worst excuses ever on what's going on. Oh yeah, I have allergy. Uh. This episode was really, really bad. Poorly written. Now, I will admit the meeting at the end was somewhat interesting because we get to meet Agent Liberty and his powers he will get. He is not a Kryptonian, no. He is someone full of hatred, and he uses hatred as a weapon. These works very well with the theme of tolerance. This works very well about with the bigger picture of this season. He is an extremist, and in this season we will find extremists among aliens and among humans, because we are the same at the end. I think the idea of this season is really good, but poorly executed through weird dialogue and weird characters. Some of the characters are laughable. They are not characters, they are just plot device to tell the story. It's like they picked every racist they met and they insert them into every single character they want to turn racist. I don't like racist. Look, my half brother is Vietnamese, so I'm against racism. But here's the thing: if you cannot write properly a story about diversity and accepting diversity, don't write it. Don't make a story about tolerance if you're not a good writer, because that can be really annoying to just experience. The first episode of the fourth season was good, but the second episode was a huge step down. The writing is Supergirl-like, and this is no compliment. This feels like season 1 and 2 all over again, and if you have seen part 1 of my retrospective, you know what I mean by there. I will admit, I was entertained by the episode. The episode went by fast. Despite my issues, I don't think that was a good episode, but it was entertaining at best. And we see more tension with Kara keeping her secret from Lena, and what if Lena learns about it? What will happen, you know? I know what will happen because I've seen the show, but seeds are planted here. Supergirl! Third episode in the fourth season was amazing. I'm shocked. After the really bad second episode, we got a masterpiece. The best episode the show ever had so far, in my own opinion. It's hands down the best. It's centered around the villain, Man of Steel, Son of Liberty. That storyline with him and his backstory was great. We see how the villain became a villain. That was well written for once. It is shocking. I also think the actor did a great job with the material he received. Even if it's good material, you can still praise the actor on the delivery. This episode showcased both sides of a story, where we got the racist and the people against racists, which is good. For once, the team was well handled. The dialogue was good, and the best villain of the show is born. I also forgot to mention, I do like a lot the fact that now Alex is the character in charge. She has good material. She has much better material than season 3, I will admit it. Even if so far at the same point season 3 was better, I think Alex gets some good material, which is great. So I am done watching the first 8 episodes of Supergirl 4th season, and I will admit it, outside of the second episode, I was surprised how good this was. This start of a season is actually better than the start of the 3rd season. But here's the thing, it's not without its issues. The worst character ever made, Alex New Boss. I hate the guts out of this character. She is just a plot device, a one-dimensional character that only stands there to contradict Alex. And this also ruins Alex's growth, because Alex's new role lasted for 4 episodes and now someone else is in charge, so it's like Alex never became truly in charge. And this is really bad, because for once you give good material to Alex and then you take it away after 4 episodes because everything is too easy for your writers. Oh, and yeah, the new president, as bad as the person he placed in charge of the deal. These are the worst character of the show so far. And I will also say this, the wife of Agent Liberty is a parody. She's laughable. At first, she's in denial. And then when she sees the truth, she actually embraces it, which is weird because she looked horrified. She didn't look happy to realize he's a mass murderer, but then at the end she supports him, even if Supergirl is the one that saved her. The writing in Supergirl doesn't always make sense. Oh yeah, and they want Supergirl to no more work at the DO. So they create that drama where the DO need to learn Supergirl's true identity. And this will make everything worse in the back half. Oh my. Here again, the theme of this season, tolerance, diversity. They are on the nose, and it's given in poorly written dialogues here and there, poorly written story lines. I'm fine with diversity. I said it many times. Legion was a great TV show. Umbrella Academy, I've seen 1 season and there was diversity in that first season and it was done properly. It's just that Supergirl writer or Twitter employees, or they're not really into making a good story. They are all about diversity and what they want to tell people about diversity, how important this is. Yes, this is important, but you don't need that much emphasis, or I should say, maybe you could place it in the background. Keep that in mind. Jessica Jones' second season had writing issues, but it had the same theme with tolerance, and it wasn't as obnoxious as this season of Supergirl. So this is all about the execution and the writing of your characters, your dialogue, and your storyline. And this is where Supergirl falls short. Now, I mentioned a lot of issues here, but I still enjoyed a lot. Agent Liberty is a great villain. He is a great opposition for Supergirl, not because he's powerful. He's not. He's just a human. But he has a voice, and that voice does impact people. That voice does reach people, and these people are the true weapon at the end. Will Supergirl just go on a rampage and kill people? No. It's Supergirl. She doesn't want to kill people, but these these Sons of Liberty are dangerous for the Order. They make a great villain. They are actually much better than Cadmus, even if they are just a copy-paste version of Cadmus. They ate alien just like Cadmus. So they repeat the kind of storyline we already had in Season 2. But here's the thing. The characters are a bit better. The storyline overall is fine. But they basically just do the same thing as Season 2. But now they have grown, I guess, and they maybe hired better writer, or they maybe realized, looking at the feedback, that their approach the first time they wanted to speak about diversity, it didn't go well. Maybe, just maybe. Anyway, this fourth season is still very good. Brainy, great character. Niano, good character, despite sometimes the dialogue feeling off with her. She's a good character. James, his best season was probably Season 2. But even there, it's nothing really to praise, because I was still bothered by the fact that he became Guardian, and now guess what? He is Guardian again, but now everybody knows. Yeah. I just feel like James is underused, and it's sad. I wished we had more of James, and I wished he had a true story going on for him. Lena this season is fine. She's better than what she was in Season 3 for sure, but I'm still rolling my eyes. I'm still really pissed off that she didn't put 2 and 2 together. She still doesn't know Kara is Supergirl, and this is one of the biggest insults to the viewer. It's like, Lena is a smart character, and even this season she's shown to be very smart. She made a test to find the right candidate for her test to cure cancer and stuff. She is smart, and that test made sense with the character, and it's believable. It was out of being smart and out of being Lena. But she still doesn't know Kara is Supergirl. And I will admit it, each time Kara tried to hide her true identity because she used her powers around other people that don't know her secret, man, what's going on? It's not the actress' fault, it's the writer. They want this to be funny? I don't know, they want this to look clumsy? Yes, it looks clumsy, but it's painful. It's eye rolling. I roll my eye. I'm like, these are bad lies. Even the character noticed, but yet it still happens. Your writer come up with bad Rewind. You are writer. Come up with better idea. You're paid to be smart on what you place in your dialogue and story, but you cannot do that. Supergirl has a storyline of her own, and that's good. I think every season did something good for Supergirl, but I do think what she had in the third season with losing Mon-El and getting Mon-El back was much better than what she has right now. She's basically just dealing with jerks and racist people. This is all she's dealing with this season. She's not into a new quest for character growth. Maybe the only place where she may grow it's because she's no more working for the DO. But even there, the reason behind her leaving the DO is absurd. The DO wanting her to reveal her identity, and then the president telling, oh yeah, my family is under Secret Service. Will you give Secret Service protection to Supergirl family if she reveals herself? No, you won't. So that president is really annoying. I cannot stand the character, and I think he was made like that on purpose, but it's not because you're self-aware of your character that it's a good character. No. Manchester Black is a great side villain. He is that kind of like third camp. There's Supergirl, there are the aliens, and there are the Sons of Liberty. There's the like three side of that war, in quote. And Manchester represent the alien what if they were extremists. And this is very interesting because it justified the fact that a human is an extremist. Because you got both sides doing wrong thing. And this is the best thing about this season. The nuance there. It's crazy how these writers can be really bad, but they can also have great idea for nuance. It's just baffling because there's a lot of good things in that fourth season, but there's also a lot of bad things that stop the good to really shine and be at its best. The tone this season is really like classic Supergirl, I think. It's very hopeful. It's not as dark as the third season. Yes, there are a few darker moments, but it's more like the darker side of the characters, not really the story itself, which is fine. John John's Martian Manhunter. Last season was John John's best season. Season 2 was good. Season 1 was fine. But this season, I do think John John's Martian Manhunter has the best material he got in the show so far. Because you really feel like him losing his father meant something, because now Martian Manhunter feels much more powerful than what he was. And he tried another way to save the world. Instead of just using his fist, he tried his best to talk down to people. Now, I will repeat myself. I cannot stand the Flash anymore because they talk down to every single villain. But I do think with Supergirl, it works better. It works better because John Johns now is a man of peace. And Supergirl is a woman of hope. And if you brawl with your fist, you're no more really about hope anymore. You think you take the easy way out, you know? But the Flash is not about hope. Yes, he brings some hope. Yes, he is another superhero. Yes, he saved people, but he doesn't stand for hope. And even there, with Eric Wallace in charge of the show, and the Flash, the Flash stand for love, which is very cringe and different. And why should someone that stand for love would talk on to people? Maybe that's why he started that really bad way of addressing each single villain. But then the Flash has super speed. Now you'll tell me Supergirl also has super speed. But here's the thing, the Flash is faster. That's his power, that's his thing. And even there, Supergirl, her speed is not as consistent as the Flash. Because she will get trapped in weird ways, in weird traps. And they need that to happen, otherwise she will solve everything really fast, and sometimes we won't really have a plot. But it doesn't sit right for me for Barry to talk down to everyone. But it does sit well for me for John and Supergirl and Kara to just talk down to people. I am done watching episode 13 of Supergirl 4th season. Now, I must point out two issues I got with the overall storyline. I don't know, like, Agent Liberty released from prison, from jail. He is a mass murderer, he was a terrorist, but because the plot wants him to be outside of jail, well, he's released. Released? Released. He is outside, like he did nothing wrong. Suspend disbelief, right? Not only he was a serial killer, but now he's out there, and the president deputize him. Great. Speaking about the new president, I really hate that character, and you're meant to hate him. But does this mean it's a good character because he serves his purpose? No, he's just a freaking plot device to make you pissed at your screen. This is not a good character. He is really annoying. And guess what? The boss above Alex is also annoying. Outside of that, the new relationship between Alex and Kara is kind of interesting because now Alex forgot that Kara was Supergirl. Now, this is still an issue for me, even if it's interesting and it's well done and it makes sense. It still feels like it's not the best part of this season because these Kara and Alex scenes, we are used to it, but now they are very different. I don't know how I should feel about that. I still hate the guts out of that villain, the girl above Alex that wants to reveal Supergirl identity to control her. That's disgusting, but it's, yeah, that's the way it is. Manchester, yeah, the Elite. They are very interesting. I think they are entertaining and they are really good. Kara protecting everyone, human and alien aside, is something we already have seen in the past with season 1, with season 2, season 3. So this is not a new. Sadly, it's not new. It's still part of the character, so it's normal that kind of stuff happens. But I feel like they need to tell you she is on everyone's side, everything, every time they can tell you. And by that point, we should know. You don't need to have that kind of dialogue we already have heard so many times. Speaking about dialogue here again, throughout that season, sometimes the dialogue is not that great. Agent Liberty, even if I'm really bothered by him being outside of jail, I do like the villain a lot. I'm just really bothered by the fact that he is out there when he is a killer and a terrorist, a known terrorist, and how his family follows him. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't, because sometime your family will hate you because they could see you as you give up on them by going in jail, you know? But no, he has a family very racist just like him. Neonol character is also a good addition to the cast. I do like the character a lot. Her learning how to use her powers is very entertaining. And yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. I must also address this. Outside of Lena and James, right now nobody is on relationship. And I think it's amazing. I don't need that trap on my show. And I feel like each time James and Lena are together because they are in love and they are into a relationship, I'm like, why am I watching? They won't even end up the series together. So what's the point of them being together? You know, why should I spend so much time with that ship if that ship won't last, It's not really good. It just drags down the show a lot, and in the first place, I don't think that relationship makes any sense because Lena and James are two very different people, and Lena is basically James' boss. And if roles would be reversed, if James was Lena boss, trust me, outraged Twitter would be there. Anyway, I cannot wait for them to officially break up. I think it's actually over their relationship by episode 12, but I'm not quite sure. To be honest, I don't care. I really don't like that relationship. Um, so yeah, Nia and Brenny may end up being a thing at some point. I say that, but I know it. They will be into a relationship in season 5. But in season 4, it's not a thing. Like, there are hints at it, there are seeds planted, but it's not a focus, and that doesn't really bother me that much. Because it's just a subplot from subplot, and it's just, I guess it's normal because it doesn't feel forced. They are two alien, they are two people that are outcast, they are two people that care about others. So I think it makes much more sense than Lena and James. But hey, this is just me. Kara doesn't have a relationship, which is great. We don't need that crap. Alex doesn't have a relationship. She's dating people. And thank you, show, to not show me each single date she gets because I want to see action. I want to see actual character growth. And I think Alex will get a girlfriend in season 5 or 6. Can't remember. But this girlfriend she will get will be much better than Maggie. And their relationship will make more sense and will be better. Anyway, right now we are in season 4. Outside of Lena and James, no relationship. And the show is much better for it. You don't need that crap. You just don't. So I am done watching episode 20 of Supergirl 4th season. I feel like it's important for me to speak out now that I am almost done with this season. Episode 20 was one of the weakest this season, side by side with episode 2. I must admit, this season surprised me for many reasons. It was actually much better than what I remembered. It surprised me because outside of weird dialogue and sometimes the treatment of the theme of tolerance and intolerance and some outside of these times where it felt off or when the dialogue wasn't great, overall I think the team was well done in general. It's Supergirl, it's not a masterpiece, let's be honest, but I will admit it. They really wanted to showcase a story about tolerance, and on that aspect, I cannot understand why they made a racist the villain. And even if it's a thing we already have seen with Cadmus in season 2, this time around it's actually better. I don't know if they hired new writers or if they gained experience, or maybe it's just Agent Liberty. Maybe Agent Liberty is the reason why this time around it works much better. Now, I must speak out, episode 20 was one of the weakest because of the subplot about Alex wanting to adopt someone, a kid. Oh my. That adoption storyline, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was invested with the rest, but this part of the episode was the weakest part. And here they plant the seed of a future relationship between Alex and James' sister. Now, James' sister as a character is fine. She's not the best, she's not the worst. And the issue here is the fact that they really want them to be a couple already. That's my issue. I don't care about relationship, but when they really, really want to showcase relationship here and there, oh my. A character doesn't need a lover to be relevant. A character doesn't need a lover to work. Supergirl this season was amazing, and she had no boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Alex was also really good. And guess what? She didn't have any girlfriend either. Now, another issue I had with episode 20 is how much Kara understands Lena and how much Kara knows that Lena has been betrayed many times around, but yet she still doesn't tell the freaking truth. Now, at the end of the episode, they really tried their best to justify it by telling, oh, everyone will betray her, so I will wait until Lex is behind bar to tell the truth. In that episode, she had 5 occasions to tell the freaking truth. This frustrates me so much because I know this will be a plot device. I know in season 5 Lena will be turned into Lex because season 5 does it. Because of what? Because Kara lied. Lena also lied to Kara, but because it's Lena, it's fine. It's fine when it's Lena. And even Kara, she is able to forgive Lena, which is very in character for Kara. It boggles my mind. I don't get it why these writers really want that drama between Kara and Lena. Lena is still stupid enough to not realize Kara is Supergirl. That episode was really bad. We also had, at some point, Kara going at the president, knowing there's a mole at the president office, giving her research, and telling the president she didn't told anybody. Why Kara must be so stupid for the plot to work? At that point, it's obvious. It's obvious for the viewer at least that the president is corrupt because the plots want the president to be corrupt. And Kara is finding out about that conspiracy. She doesn't share with anybody. She will go at the president, part of that conspiracy. And she will hand over her research. I lost brain cell over that scene. Where the president is laughing because he realized how stupid she is. I understand Kara is no chess player, but You really need to be stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. The person laughed at her. So, yeah, I think this season has been actually much better than what I remembered so far. I cannot wait to rewatch episode 21 and 22. And I will admit, the the boss of Alex, I still hate that character, but I actually find her better than the last time I've seen her because I've realized she got a character arc. The boss of Alex got growth throughout the season. She is, by the end of the season, a much better character. She is more grounded than the first portrait of her at the start of the season. She is a much better and great character. She is no more that one dimensional by the book, by the book, by the book. But this is a detail about like episode 18 or 17, I can't remember. And it's sad because despite that character growth, I still feel like that character was too much. It's still a bad character because she took away from Alex. Alex was in charge of the Dio. She should be in charge. But here again, they wanted someone else to be in charge, and that someone else got a character arc of her own. And that's fine, but it still doesn't sit right for me. I still don't like the fact that they use that character only as a plot device, and at least that character got growth, but yeah, I will always remember that character as being one of the weakest part of the season. The really bad dialogue as well, and the downfall of Kara and Lena friendship as well. There's a lot of bad things about this season, but I was surprised. I really hope season 21 and episode 21 and episode 22 will deliver. I really hope that because so far I do think this season is better than the third season, and this is shocking for me because I always remembered the third season as being the best season the show had. Then after rewatching season 4, it's actually really good. Outside of the numerous issues I mentioned, considering it's Supergirl, they did good job. Maybe I'm just getting used to the bad writing all over the place and I'm more tolerant. Maybe. But maybe it's actually a good season. So I am done watching for the third time, I think, Supergirl 4th season. Guess what? This was hands down my favorite season so far. And I am shocked. As I said earlier, I always thought the third season was the best one. Season 4 proved me wrong. Martian Manhunter John Johns got a very interesting storyline where he finds out that he's not his father and he will never be. This took a lot of episodes, but this was really good. And this is growth. And this told us, the viewer, that John Johns does matter to the show. Lex Luthor as a villain was also amazing. He was a really, really good villain. He was a bit better than Rain, I will admit it. Outside of the weird dialogue and all these forced relationships they really want you to care for by the end of the season, that season was really good. Now I'm glad Lena and James are no more a thing. They were not a good match anyway. They didn't make sense, and both actors do not have chemistry at all. Now, what bothers me is they made Lena Lex Luthor. At the end, Lena is driven to kill Lex for the greater good. But guess what? Because this is the arrowverse and because it's Lex Luthor, you cannot kill Lex Luthor like that. Lex Luthor is brought back to life, but just before he got killed by Lena. Just before that, he reveals to Lena, look, everyone has been lying to you. Kara is not your friend. That plot is disgusting. It's lazy writing. It's turning one of your best characters in Lena into your worst. I am ready for season 5. I am ready to cry at the end of every episode and say, what did they do to you, my girl? What did they do to you, Lena? Lena. You used to be great in season 2. Now, after looking back, I do think that the second season was the best season for Lena. The start of the third season was also really good. But the back half of the third season, the whole drama between Supergirl and Lena, it bothered me. And now, this time around, she's an hypocrite. This is what Lena is. An hypocrite. This time around, they double down on Lena becoming Lex. Because they need to do some character assassination. Oh my. What did they do to you, Lena? Overall, I do think Agent Liberty was really good. The dialogue was bad sometimes, and yeah. By the way, remember when I used to complain about Alex's relationship with Maggie? This time Alex gets a new girlfriend. I don't like relationship, but I don't mind that one. Because it feels organic, and it didn't took away anything from Alex or the new character so far. I say so far because I can't remember what happens with that in season 5. All I remember is the ending of that relationship on a satisfying note. I do remember Alex and that relationship going somewhere interesting. But, yeah. That's how it goes. Nia and Brainy are now a thing. And Brainy will be a bit of a letdown with season 5. Because he could have become a huge and great villain. But all he will become is an obstacle. And that's it. Oh yeah, plot device character are also an issue about season 4 with the president and Alex new boss. Now, I do think Alex new boss is not around in season 5, but I may be wrong. It's been a long time I have seen the 5th season. So I can't really remember, to be honest. I really hope she's out. Overall, I do think this 4th season deserves a 8.5 out of 10, which is 0.5 more than the 3rd season. Now, the first season of Arrow was roughly 8.5 out of 10. But I do think Arrow was a bit better in its first season than Supergirl is during its 4th season. I don't remember having that many issues outside of love triangle and sometimes weird writing. But with Supergirl, there's a lot of issues like, I don't know, Agent Liberty non-killer out after a few months and then becoming secretary. Or everyone working for Lex are just stupid enough to work for him. Anyway, the fourth season of Supergirl was good. Overall, it did great job. Manchester Black was also a great villain, and he is the one that revealed John's true nature. He is the one that made John realize he wasn't only a path of peace. Seeing John's having a storyline of his own outside of the deal felt like a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. What we needed. Alex, I want you to be in charge. You deserve it at that point. Take everyone out. Like, I really want to see Alex being in charge. Red Daughter was also a very interesting supporting villain. She didn't have vile intent. She wasn't that malicious person. She did what she thought right. And she was just a strength that got against Supergirl and what America stood for. And she had good points. But she was very naive to think that Lex was a good guy. Oh my, this has dropped. Can already spot on some true racism because the theme of that season was racism again, and yeah. 88 is crazy. It's actually no, it's not. Maybe more 85 like me, but yeah. 42 for the audience. Ooh, that did hurt the show, right? Here we are with the next stop. Such a bold move for a show like this to go into themes like discrimination and bigotry, to handle it in such a subtle way with its commentary, and the fourth season handled it in such an entertaining and highly impactful way. I disagree. No, it wasn't always great. Some episodes were much weaker because of that theme, but I will admit Agent Liberty was a great villain. He was the perfect bigot, and he had good reason to be a bigot, but it's wrong to be a bigot. Anyway, yeah, season 4 was still my favorite. But I can understand where you are coming from with your 4 stars. 1 star, this season was a boring piece of shit. 3 stars and a half, still kinda has it mostly. Half a star, worst season so far, probably bigots. I'm just joking. You're entitled to your own opinion. Okay, so this is the comment I left last year. Not as good as season 3, but still leagues ahead of season 1 and 2. This has changed. I do think season 4 is actually a bit better than 3, but not that much. But I still think it's leagues ahead of season 1 and 2. I stick to that one. The Agent Liberty centric episode was great. I still think that. The overall season is entertaining. I still agree with that. Several story arcs made the season feel different than any previous season of the show. I agree. Lex Luthor was a great villain at that point. That season was good from start to end. True. Nothing feels out of place. Yes. Lena stays another interesting character. Nia Knoll coming to the mix added another interesting character. Despite not having Melissa on set for a few weeks, they still found a way around to give Supergirl a story. I don't remember Kara seeking for love, which is great, and she doesn't. So this remains fresh, you know. The only negative that really dragged down the show a lot would be the fact that many political agenda are pushed down our throat. I agree with that. it was still sometimes really hard to watch. The dialogue, man, oh my. This is Supergirl we are talking about. Okay, so this is the next stop. Bear with me. Half a star. This one didn't like that season. Season 4 is the absolute worst in terms of everything. I don't know why, but it seems like the 2018 year became something about bigot bashing in arrowverse. The Flash adds Cicada saying the metahuman are evil and must be eliminated. Yeah. Legend of Tomorrow had a mythical being which the people were afraid of, so they had to make people accept him. And Black Lightning will add, well, Black Lightning. That one, that part, man, the best part. But at least they all ranged from awesome to meh. Supergirl here was an absolute atrocity. My! Not gentle, not gentle. And the villain this time around is basically natalist. Yeah. According to him, the world only belongs to human because aliens are superior to human in every form and will take over if the human don't fight back. So tell me there, bigot. Does that logic not apply to human too? Didn't human also take over the world from wild animals? Oh, ho, ho. Yeah, actually that's freaking true. So, next up, so by your logic, shouldn't the human also leave most of the world? Also, he says that if alien will be taking over the job because they are very powerful, but in that case, they can only be given blue collared jobs. Humans are still there to order them. Also, if they are able to kill so many aliens without even exploiting any weakness, doesn't it mean that aliens are not strong? That's actually true. So now as I am reading this, the season get worse. I still like the season a lot though, but these are good points. Anyway, I went into a rant over this point. So well, there's also Manchester Black in this who keeps switching sides and even thought he fights for the good guys. He is unnecessarily shown as a bad guy. Okay, I will add something here. I think Manchester Black was actually a villain, just like Agent Liberty. Maybe I misread the show and the intent behind the show, but I do think Agent Liberty was basically the white villain, the human villain, and he was the extremist all about natural order. And Manchester Black was more of a anarchist or a response to Agent Liberty. So because Agent Liberty was the villain, well, Manchester Black was also a villain because it was only a response to what Agent Liberty was doing. So I do think Manchester Black was a villain. He started off like more of an anti-hero, like after his girlfriend died, but when he started torturing and killing people, this is the turning point of Manchester Black no more being a good guy. So Manchester Black was like a good guy for maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Like, the moment he ended up killing lots of Sons of Liberty, that's the moment for me he turned evil, and I think that was the intent behind the show. That's also why John Johns had to kill him. I don't think John Johns would ever have killed a good guy or even an anti-hero. John Johns killed Manchester Black because Manchester Black was a full-blown villain and he needed to be stopped, you know? So, there's also an evil Russian Supergirl who was teased in the end of the previous season as if she's supposed to be the big bad girl of the season, but she isn't of any importance until the last few episodes where she makes the wonderful contribution of being killed by Lex Luthor. So, yeah, Well, actually, she was just a tool for Lex to use, and she wasn't really a villain. She thought she was doing the right thing, and she thought the USA and Supergirl were the bad guys. So I don't think she was necessarily a villain. She was more like misguided. Yes, he is also in this because it was probably not a good idea to use female Bizarro for the second time. I mean, there's literally not a single redeeming quality in this season. There's a lot of talking, intolerable violence, and just plain bad CGI. Okay, I can understand where that person is coming from, but I think that person also misrepresent the show like Manchester Black and even like Supergirl. And the point of Lex was we needed more than one storyline. I mean, he was the guy pulling the strings and controlling the government. So I do think Lex was needed in this season. I don't think it was needed in season 5 or 6, but I think in season 4 Lex was very needed. Next up, the series began really well with a strong female character in the lead and other strong female character in support role. Alyssa Flockhart never disappointed, and her cat Grant was absolutely brilliant with a cold exterior and multi-layered character beneath. It was so good to have a female superhero which had the same oof the pilot arrowverse did not have yet. Sadly, the writer decided to stick it to women and undermine us under the guise of progressive political correct wokeness. I understand where you are coming from. And kicking women in the guts is not progressive. Nia Null could have been introduced as a strong independent trans character with a full history and whole personality, but instead was giving a female only biological lineage. Utterly ridiculous and insulting to women. Next, they will try to write in a pregnant trans superhero. Even in the superhero world of comics, there are lines you don't cross, and basic believability is required in the non-super parts of the storyline. Besides that, there's never need to put down, belittle, and be hateful toward women in order to raise up, honor, and give visibility to any other group. I will not be spending my money on future season of this show instead of putting it into show that they don't insult intelligence in all women. I can understand that feeling. Next up, Lost Me at Blonde Girl breaks into US warship in the middle of the ocean and fires missile. I'm kinda angry, really. Here are my closing thoughts on the retrospective of Supergirl TV show part number 2. Massive step up. That was much better. That season 3 and 4 were really good. That wasn't masterpiece level, but they were great. I enjoyed it. This is 2 really good seasons, and I was shocked as I was rewatching the 4th season how much the 4th season was better than the 3rd one. I was shocked because I always remembered the 3rd season as being the peak of the show, the best season. But my most recent watch proved me otherwise. And I'm glad I did this new watch of the entire show, because season 3 and 4 are worth watching. And maybe in the future I will just rewatch these 2 instead of rewatching the entire show, you know? These 2 seasons I'd recommend to anybody that has not seen these 2, watch it. Watch it. This is good comic book live action TV shows. I know it's weird because it's coming from CW, and it's even more weird when you think about Supergirl as a show overall. I liked a lot that block of seasons. Now, if you have missed it, I got a tier list with all of the episodes of the Supergirl TV show. Click in the link in the description below. And with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in future video and stream. Take care.